Hello everyone. This is Pigeon Pentagon. A truck has appeared on the street. It doesn't look too special from the outside, but it has caused a lot of discussion online. Some people say that if you hit this kind of truck, you won't be able to compensate even if you are reincarnated 100 times. Is there a supercar inside? The answer is not that simple. The key lies in the 4 large English letters, ASML, written on the outside of the truck, which is the protagonist of this episode. ASML is the world's leading manufacturer of advanced lithography machines, and one machine can cost more than a Boeing 737. It is a coveted tool in the semiconductor industry. We will shift our focus from the road to the battleground of the 2 giants in the global chip industry. As previously introduced, after Intel's new CEO, Gelsinger, took office, he established a subsidiary in Taiwan and called Taiwan an unstable place. TSMC, while seeking U.S. subsidies, keeps the most advanced products in Taiwan for manufacturing. He called on the U.S. government to revitalize its own industry, namely Intel. Although Gelsinger is confident, almost all experts believe that the real focus of the Intel versus TSMC competition is on EUV lithography machines. Currently, TSMC leads Intel in terms of the number of machines and experience in lithography. If TSMC and Intel purchase tools and technology at the same speed, TSMC will continue to maintain its leading position. In addition to the 2 major players, another company that is feeling worried is Samsung. The Korean government's research institution has said that in order to operate a chip production business, EUV equipment is needed. If Intel also enters the chip production industry, Samsung is afraid that they will not buy from them. Simply put, the chip industry is currently the most important industry in the world, and the key to the balance of power in this industry lies in the EUV lithography machine produced by ASML. So what is this machine and what kind of company is ASML? To understand these things, let's start with the process of making lenses. The so-called lens has another name, which is the integrated circuit, IC. Almost all electronic products require it to function. As for how it is made, it's like building a house. You need to first plan out the interior design, and engineers will draw a circuit diagram based on the functions that the chip needs to have. After the circuit diagram is drawn, there needs to be a place to place all the electronic components, just like a room needs a floor. This floor is the wafer. Once the wafer is prepared, how do you shrink the circuit design and print it onto it? The answer is through light, similar to the principle of film. The circuit design is reduced to the wafer using ultraviolet light, and the quality of a chip depends on the precision of this step, which is the accuracy that light can achieve. Next, engineers will produce and connect the electronic components on the wafer, and after they are sent to the packaging factory, the insulated outer shell is a chip. As mentioned earlier, in this highly precise process, photolithography is the key to quality and accounts for 35% of the total cost and nearly half of the manufacturing time. In other words, whichever chip factory can obtain the most powerful photolithography machine can outpace its competitors in the chip technology race. As for who to buy the best photolithography machine from, this market is highly monopolized. Unlike wanting to drink cola, where you can choose from several options when you walk into a convenience store, if you are the boss of TSMC or Samsung today, you only have one choice, which is ASML. According to data from 2020, there are roughly 3 companies in the photolithography market: ASML, Canon, and Nikon, with market shares of 62%, 30%, and 8%, respectively. It seems like ASML has a high market share, but it does not have a complete monopoly. The real key is in sales revenue. ASML's sales revenue accounts for 91% of the market, making it the undisputed king of the market. Why does this phenomenon occur? The reason is that ASML is attacking the high-end market, and EUV photolithography machines are their specialty. One machine costs as much as $130 million, which is more expensive than a Boeing 737. Why is a photolithography machine so expensive? The reason is that the technology it requires is too advanced, almost the crystallization of human wisdom. To achieve such technology, it requires the cooperation of more than 10 top companies from around the world. Essentially, the photolithography machine is not independently completed by a single company, but is built on an extremely experienced industrial chain. Each component technology is usually owned by only a few companies worldwide. For example, its reflective mirror is produced by a German company and only allows for a flaw of 1/1000th of a nanometer in smoothness. According to ASML, if the reflective mirror is the same size as Germany, the highest protrusion on it cannot exceed 1 centimeter. ASML's advantage lies in its tight control over the entire supply chain. The light source comes from the United States, the optical module comes from Germany, and the conveyor belt is manufactured by a Dutch company. A single lithography machine is designed by more than 10 companies from 4 countries. The reason why ASML, a Dutch company, can achieve this feat rather than countries such as the US and Japan with similarly advanced technology is due to historical factors. The earliest lithography machines appeared in the 1960s and 1970s and can be understood as powerful projectors or cameras that use light to project circuit diagrams onto chemically treated silicon wafers. At that time, semiconductor companies usually made their own lithography machines, and Intel once made a simple version. Later, Japanese companies Canon and Nikon entered the field, and in the 1990s, lithography machines were fiercely competed for by Japanese companies and GCA. ASML, the main character here, was still a small company owned by the Dutch corporate giant Philips in the 1980s, with only about 30 employees and an office in a wooden house on the parent company's grounds. However, after this small company became independent from Philips, it seized a rare opportunity in the history of technology, which was the decline of the leading Nikon. The lithography machines made by Nikon at that time were extremely expensive and had long development cycles, which were a huge burden for a single company, especially when counting limits were reached in light source wavelength, providing an opportunity for competitors. In 2002, the vice president of TSMC, Lin Benjin, proposed a new method using the development technique to break through the limit of light source technology. However, he traveled to the United States, Japan, and Germany, and no company was willing to adopt this approach because they had already invested too much in previous technologies. Until ASML came along, this small company was willing to take a gamble, and in just over a year they produced a sample machine, forming an alliance with TSMC. As for the previous leader Nikon, it first faced a downturn in the global semiconductor market, and large companies in Japan and the United States were hit. There are even reports that in 1 year, there were no orders for lithography machine manufacturers worldwide, except for ASML, which formed an alliance with TSMC. But that's not all for ASML. In fact, as early as 1997, far-sighted American companies formed an EUV technology alliance hoping to achieve a dominant position in the lithography machine field, including giants such as Intel and IBM, as well as leading national laboratories. But the problem was that American lithography machine companies had long been behind due to the impact of Japan, and Japan was a competitor of the United States. The opportunity was given to ASML. They immediately cooperated with the U.S. range and promised to purchase materials from the U.S. As a result, under the leadership of the United States, the world's most advanced technology was integrated, combined with breakthroughs in technology. By 2012, Intel, Samsung, and TSMC jointly invested €5.229 billion in ASML. This industry chain took shape, and ASML became invincible in the field of optoelectronics technology. Experts generally believe that the secret to ASML's success lies in integration. They did not choose to directly compete with the likes of Nikon in technology, but instead used outsourcing, procurement, and agency assistance to enhance technology. In addition, their business model is also quite clever. As mentioned earlier, the 3 giants of the semiconductor industry invested in ASML. The key to this is that ASML proposed to enter the stock market and had the right of first purchase, tying their interests to their customers. There is an interesting metaphor that ASML is not so much a manufacturer as a research unit responsible for professional integration and design, with a large part of its technology and supplies coming from abroad. From the above story, it can be seen why TSMC has been able to obtain the latest equipment in the past, largely due to its long-term relationship with ASML. Currently, it is reported that ASML's shipment of machines in 2022 will reach 51 to 55, and TSMC is expected to take 22 of them, sitting on the largest EUV production capacity throne. It also shows why China wants to buy ASML's lithography machines, but because of US pressure, the Dutch government refused to issue an export license to China. The reason behind this is the relationship between the US and ASML, and the fact that the US still holds a large amount of critical materials. Former US National Security Advisor, Kupchan, told the Dutch government that if they were allies, they would not sell this type of equipment to China. However, regardless of the situation, ASML has become one of the most important companies in the current semiconductor industry, with the power to influence the industry. It is also a symbol of cutting-edge human technology. Behind the four letters ASML is the power of various companies. It is estimated that in 2022, their market value will be comparable to that of TSMC. This also means that chips are still the oil of the next era, with an irreplaceable position. This is the end of this episode. If you are interested in this topic, feel free to leave a message below to share your thoughts. If you like our channel, remember to subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.